श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः आत्मसंयमयोगः। श्लोका नंबर 30। यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति। So here he says यः मां पश्यति सर्वत्र. So one who sees me everywhere, that is the first sentence. One who sees me in all the things, and sarvam cha mayi pashyati, in me he sees everything. So first is when he is seeing the world, he sees everything as the swarupam of God. Everybody is God, everything is God, like that he sees. That is why he will never hate anything, he will never despise anything, because he will see everything as God, and he will see all the beings in God. That is the second sentence. When he sees the world, he sees everything as God, and all the things also he sees in God. That is the second sentence, where the Atma is replaced with God. That's all he's done in this shloka. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. Yaha, the person, mam, me, pashyati, who sees, sarvatra, who sees me everywhere. Sarvam cha mayi pashyati. So, sarvam, everything, cha mayi pashyati, in me, sees. He sees everything in me. Tasyaham na pranashyami. For him, na pranashyami. I will never be lost to that person. Sacha me na pranashyati. And he will not be lost to me. That is why spirituality is not 20 minutes or a half an hour or 1 hour job. Spirituality is 24-hour job. That is real spirituality. Seeing the God in everything, seeing everything as the manifestation of God is real spirituality. First shloka he talked about the Atma Darshanam, where the yogi will see like that. In this he says that it is Ishvara Darshanam. So the general translation is, for those who see me everywhere and see all the things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me. So this is the general meaning. Shloka number 31. Sarvabhutasthitham yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mayi vartate. So here he says Sarvabhutasthitham yaha mam. He said in the previous shloka, I am situated in all the beings, right? So this person who is a yogi, what he does is bhajati ekatvam astitah. So that first we will read. So he is worshipping, or he is united with God, and he is established in it, this yogi, and he knows that the God yaha sarvabhuta sthitam, that God whom this yogi is worshipping, he knows that he is situated in all the living beings. What is spirituality? He is not seeing God as separate in the puja room. He is not seeing God only in meditation. He is seeing this God in all the living beings. That is the main point. Bhajati ekatvam. He is worshipping God who is situated in all the living beings. Sarvata vartamanopi. Relationships, you can trash everybody, you can treat people unfairly, you can be cruel to people, then you will sit in meditation or do puja, there is no use. You have to bring everything together. That's why he is saying this. Sarvata vartamanopi means though he is engaged in all kinds of activities. In this world, he is engaged in many kinds of activities. Sarvata vartamanopi, he may be remain in all the activities. Saha yogi mayi vartate. But this yogi will always dwell in me. Because why? He is united everything with the concept of God. That is why he is my true devotee. He is the yogi. So we don't have to leave what our life is and go somewhere. You have to spiritualize the life you already have. You need not go somewhere, abandon this to get a spiritual life. But in the life we are living, we have to spiritualize it. The general translation is, the yogi who is established in the union with me and worships me as residing in all the beings dwells only in me, even though engaged in all kinds of activities. 32 also important shloka. All these 3 shlokas are important. Atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham Sa yogi paramo mataha. So first shloka he talked about the Atma Darshanam. The previous shloka he talked about the Ishvara Darshanam. Here he is talking about how this yogi will see the anatma of everybody. We know that this yogi, he realized that everybody is this Atma, so he will not treat anybody poorly, that the same foundational substance exists. But how does he treat the anatma of that person? If suppose somebody comes to him with a sorrow or a happiness, or how does he react? That is this shloka. Here he says that same scale he will have for others. He will be just to everybody, just he will think that what is pain to me is pain to the other person. What I want in life, this other person also wants. He enjoying something, he will think that his servant also has to enjoy it. He will be fair because the anatma part of it also, he thinks that his pain is my pain, his happiness is my happiness. Like that he will treat everybody. So Adi Shankaracharya says, ahimsakaha bhavati, doesn't do himsa to anybody, trouble or hurt anybody. We'll see the meaning. Atma aupam yena. That means he's talking about similar to oneself, the body. Atma upam yena. That means they're talking about the body here, not the Atma. Sarvatra, everywhere, samam pashyati. He sees equally everyone with equal eyes. The anatma part, he sees equally. Yaha Arjuna, who Arjuna, sukham va yadiva dukham. If it is happiness, he feels that, oh, what make me happy will be happiness for that person also. And what causes me pain will be painful for that person also. Basically, he will not have different rules for other people. For me, one rule, for the other person, one rule. Okay, I want my company to pay me when I'm on a holiday, but I will not pay my servant when he is on a holiday. Like that, he will not have different rules. Same rule. If I want something, other person also needs something. Like that, he will think in his mind. That person, Krishna says, yes, he is the highest yogi. Sukham va yadiva dukkam. Whether it be happiness or it be the sorrow, saha yogi paramaha mataha. I consider him, that person Arjuna, the highest yogi, because he treats everybody fairly and justly. So it is said, wherever you go, either financially, physically, emotionally, some way you must contribute. Have the empathy for that person. Okay, they will also be tired. They will also have a lot of things to do. Like being fair to everybody. The meaning is, I regard them to be the perfect yogis who see the true equality of all living beings and respond to the joys and sorrows of others as if it were their own. So this is the general translation. Shloka number 32 finished. Now we are going to another topic. So all these 4 topics we have covered till now and it is closed. What were the things we saw? Bahiranga sadhanam, that was the lifestyle or the practices helping with the dhyana. Antaranga sadhanam, which was, for example, setting up the dhyana itself, the place, the time, etc. Dhyana swarupam, dhyana itself, how it should be done, and dhyana phala. So 4 things we saw till now, and that topic is closed. Now we are going to another topic. Arjuna is going to ask a question. It is called the Yoga Pratibandham. That means obstacle to the dhyana. So Arjuna says, what you are saying is very nice, Krishna, but because of the mind, quality of the mind, what you are saying may not be practical. So that is what he is going to ask. So Yoga Pratibandham, which is obstacle, and Upaya, solution, Krishna will give. 33 to 36, we are going to see this, the question and the answer. Arjuna vacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana yetasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat sthithim sthiram. So we said that this question is put forward by Arjuna. So Arjuna says, okay, Krishna, you have told me like what to do, dhyana, all those 4 things you talk about, Bahiranga, Antaranga, Dhyana Swarupam, and also you talked about the glory of the dhyana. But he says that I'm able to grasp all this. I have the capability to absorb the Grahana Shakti, but I'm not having the Dharana Shakti. That means I do not have the capability to ingrain it. I believe in it. I believe what you are telling is true. I know that it will lead me to the highest good. But the problem is I cannot follow it. And why I cannot follow it? Etasyaham na pashami chanchalatvam sthitim stira. This chanchala mind is not allowing me to practice it. That's what he's saying. So Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Yaha ayam yogaha tvaya proktaha. So ayam yogaha means this system or this yoga that you have preached. Tvaya proktaha means described. Proktaha means you have described very well. And samyena madhusudana. So you are talking about the equanimity. Krishna, samyena madhusudana, the equanimity that you talked about, the samaloshta kanchanaha. Then you said that shitoshna sukha dukkeshu, mana, apamana, all that have to be the same. This equanimity that you are telling is very nice. I understand. But what happened, my problem is, etasyaham na pashyami, all this, I do not see what? Sthitim stiram, we have to read first. Sthitim stiram means as a permanent solution or stable solution. I do not see. Why? Chanchalatvat. Because of the mind being restless, all these things I cannot do steadily. Like that, Arjuna is asking. And this is the situation for everybody basically. And Arjuna, we all know, he is so great with concentration. He could shoot the bird's eye. He is called the Gudakesha. He's conquered his sleep. He has so much of concentration power. Still, he is asking this question. So for other lesser mortals, you can just imagine. So this is the nature of the mind. Krishna is going to give the answer for that in the next shlokas. And they have said that there are broadly 3 different kinds of sishyas. One will be the Uttama Sishya, where, he will take the teachings. He will have both absorption and he will have the retention. That is the Uttama Sishya. Whatever he is absorbing, immediately he will be able to retain it and he will be able to do it in practice. That is the Uttama Sishya. The Madhyama Sishya will have the absorption capability, but he will not have the ability to retain or not have the ability to practice. And then the last will be the Adama Sishya. The third category is Adama Sishya, who neither has the capability to absorb, not to practice. And a few people are there who are like non-believers, non-adhikaris, who will not have interest at all. So these are the categories. And we have to try to go from one level to another, assess ourselves where we are, and then try to move up the ladder. General translation. Arjuna said, the system of yoga that you have described, O Madhusudana, appears impractical and unattainable to me due to the restlessness of mind. Shloka number 34. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavadhrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. So here he describes the qualities of the mind. He says here, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna. So mind is restless, O Krishna, and pramati. So it is turbulent also. One time it is very good, one time it is very bad. It is like in bad weather we are going in an aeroplane, how it is, the mind is like that. And then balavat. So it is also very strong in the wrong direction. It can become strong in the right direction also once the right knowledge is given. And dridam. Dridam is obstinate, balavat is strong. So we have to supply the manaha and all these things. Chanchalam manaha, pramati manaha, balavat manaha, and dridam manaha. So all those qualities are describing the mind, and Arjuna is telling this is how everybody's mind is. Tasyaham nigraham manye. Tasyaham, so it's nigraham, control, manye, think. So he's giving an example. Vayoho iva sudushkara. Can you control the wind? You have to struggle to the wind contained. So like that, we have to struggle to keep this mind contained. And because of the nature of the mind, so what you are telling, Krishna, this is not a practical solution and it cannot be followed. So that is his question. So he says the mind is very restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate. O Krishna, it appears to me that it is more difficult to control than the wind. So Vayuho iva sudushkaram. Very difficult. Sudushkaram. Dushkaram means difficult. Sudushkaram means very difficult. So like that he is describing the mind. 35, Krishna is beginning to give the answer. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Gruhyate. Whenever the student has the question, the teacher must understand it and he must assert that this is his question. So like that Krishna is doing. He begins that Asamshayam Mahabaho Manaha Durnigraham Chala. Question only, he converted into a statement. Yes, Arjuna, what you are saying is perfectly true. I understand your question. And yes, correct. This is the correct tactic in which whenever somebody asks something, you have to assert, okay, this was your question, yes or no. Like that, that is also being taught here. Samshayam Mahabaho Manaha, the mind, Durnigraham means difficult to restrain. Yes, it is Chanchalam and it is very difficult to restrain, he says in the first line. Then he gives the solution. What are the two things he is telling? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So the answer is what? Abhyasena, practice. Mind is turbulent, bring it back. Mind is strong, put it in the right direction. Mind is obstinate, point it correctly. And chanchalam, make it steady. Practice. Like how the horse, you're bringing it in one direction, making it go. Continuous practice only you can do. Abhyasena, tu kaunteya, O Arjuna, vairagyena, detachment. These are the two solutions to the problem of the mind. Vairagya, how you will get? By having viveka also. What is permanent, what is not permanent? What will give you the answers? These kind of scriptures, kind of exposure. More and more that knowledge is going, your vasanas and your basically your inclinations for these unnecessary things will start fading away. That is the only way. And you bring from viveka the knowledge, then from viveka bring the vairagya and bring the vairagya to practice. So that is the answer given. Grihyate means can be controlled. Why the mind is restless? There are 4 reasons why the mind is restless. So one is because the mind is very subtle. If something is very gross, it's very easy to control. Like for example, the body is gross. So you can kind of control the body better compared to the mind because the mind is very subtle. You can't even predict your next thought. And the mind and indriyas are always turned outwards. That we saw in chapter 2, if you remember, the famous mantra from Kathopanishad. Paranchikhani vyatrinat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman Khaschid dhiraha pratyagatmana maikshadavritta kshakshura mritatva michan. This is the Kathopanishad mantra. Oh, is only my mind going out like this? Why is, sometimes we analyze, right? Why is my mind always straying? That means they are giving the answer here. The self-existent created the sense objects outgoing. That's how God has created. There is a manufacturing defect that has been acknowledged. That it has been programmed to go out. Okay, therefore one sees outside and not the Atman with it. So this is already programmed. We have to reprogram it. So some intelligent man with his senses turned away from their objects, desirous of immortality, sees the Atman within. So this is the meaning of that mantra. Because already we are programmed to see outside. Sometimes we don't have the knowledge also. We don't know if it's right or wrong. We just keep going in that direction. Then when some teaching is given like this, we attempt to see inside. That attempt must be made because your indriyas and mind is programmed to go outside. That's the second reason why it goes out. And then sometimes we assume that we are the mind, kind of attach ourselves with the mind. I am good, I am bad, because you are attaching with your mind. Maybe if you have a good thought, you say, oh, I am so good, I am so charitable. When you are bad, you are angry, you say, I am so bad, I am very angry. So why you are telling all those things? Because you got attached to that mind. So that is another problem, is we have to detach from the mind. I am not bad, My thought is bad. What can I do to correct this thought? I don't need to think I'm so good and I'm above everything. Maybe there is some good thoughts in my mind. Like that, if we distance it, we should not attach ourselves to the mind. So the depression, all those things are because of the attachment with the mind. Once we start to detach and say, okay, some thoughts are coming, let it come. Some nonsense is coming in my mind. Then you will create the gap and you will free yourself. That is the third point. And then fourth point is we are habituated ourselves for our mind to stray. We never made any attempt, but only now we realize, okay, this is an important aspect. Now the mind has to be brought back and it has to be controlled. So 4 points we saw is the mind is very subtle. That's why we are not able to control. Already the mind and the indriyas are programmed to look outside, but we have to reprogram it. That's why it is difficult. And attachment with the mind is also causing us the problem, why we are not able to see the mind separate from us and bring it into control. And the fourth point is we are habituated to our mind stray. We didn't make any attempt to bring it back. So those were the 4 points. So now the two solutions that little bit we will see about it. So first we will take a vairagya, because the vairagya has to come before the practice. So we have seen that what is vairagya? Vairagya means having the dispassion in this world or having the detachment from these worldly things. So we said that what was dhyana? Basically, we have the thoughts of the anatma. Anatma meaning anything outside, like, okay, I have to drop my kid or I have to finish this work. Anything will be anatma thought, which is not pertaining to God or atma related thought is an anatma thought. So our mind will keep going in that directions. What we have to do is we have to bring it back by saying that, okay, this soul cannot pull me. This is not the truth. Like that, we said we have to give the intelligence to ourselves. How they have said in our scriptures is 𝐾𝐘𝐍𝐻. That means like how when a crow shit will fall on you, like that he'll say, oh, like that. These kind of thoughts must be dumped. That is one way to say that, to look at all those things with disdain. And what you have to do is dosha darshana. You have to always think about the bad consequences of all these sensual pleasures. If you analyze the bad things, okay, what is a bad thing? Gulab jamun is nice. If I eat 4 gulab jamun, what will happen? If I eat 8 gulab jamun, what will happen? If I eat 16 gulab jamun, what will happen? Your health will get spoiled. Similarly, okay, you analyze, okay, if I get a lot of things, if you buy a lot of things, what happens? Even this you can see, your bank balance will go down. One positive will be there, one negative will always be there for anything in this world. In the worldly thing, every positive will have a negative. That what is a fault in it, always you must keep analyzing. So in chapter 13, he will say as qualities to be imbibed in Jnanam topic, he will give qualities. Dukkha doshanu darshanam. That will be the quality of the person in the spiritual path, where he will analyze the faults of these worldly things. Only then he can get the viveka and then he can get the vairagya. How we can do the vairagya is by analyzing what is permanent and non-permanent, getting the viveka or the discriminatory capability. This kind of attractiveness will be there for all these objects outside, not giving too much value to it. Then second thing is like that, do I want crochet on my body? No, I don't, right? Like that. And then third is to see the fault of those objects, worldly objects. So that is how you will develop the vairagya. And then abhyasam. Abhyasam is the practice. So continuous repetition and practice that we do in every sphere. Like wherever you want to excel, wherever you want to progress, you have to do the abhyasa. There is no other shortcut. They studied the world's top people in their own areas, and it was concluded that you need 10,000 hours to excel in anything. So only if you put that much effort, you will be able to excel in anything they have concluded. So like that, for spirituality, we just want to do it like a weekend class, or we just want to do 20 minutes a day. That will not help, because regular practice, giving dedicated time only will help. So that's why they call the abhyasam, the practice, constant practice every day, day in and day out. You must be putting your time and energy into it. So what you have to do? your mind will wander, and then you have to bring your mind back. That's the only thing you have to do. So somebody asked a Zen monk, he was meditating for 30 years. And then somebody asked, what did you achieve? Like after 30 years, what did you achieve? He said, I eat when I eat, I walk when I walk, and I talk when I talk. That's all he achieved. That means what? When we are talking, we are eating. When we are eating, we are walking. We are doing all those things. We are not focused. We are only trying to do a lot of things. So just your attention to that particular thing. When the mind goes, bring it back. When the mind goes, bring it back. So only that one pointed attention that Zen monk had brought. So that is what is needed. And then Abhyasa Lakshanam they have given is Dirgha Kala. Long time you have to do. Long time means what? Till your death. This practice is not like short time, it will be over. This class will be over in a few weeks. No, not like that. Till death you have to do. And Nairandarya, again and again you have to do. And then Shraddhaya, you have to do it also with the faith. Phalan has been told by Krishna himself. From the mouth of Krishna, this Bhagavad Gita has come. So he has told so much phalan. So you have to do with faith. So this is the practice done with all these qualities. Long time, again and again, and with Shraddha. So this is the Abhyasa Lakshana. To sum it up, he mentioned two solutions, Vairagya and Abhyasa. So Vairagya means what? Having the dispassion for this world. And how do you cultivate this? By constantly, by thinking about the false, by thinking that you do not want it, and not being attracted to it unnecessarily, because you're giving some intelligence saying these things are not permanent. So these are the ways. And then Abhyasa, how you will do? Abhyasa you have to do again and again, long time, and with Shraddha. And it has to be continuous. It is a continuous process. It's not like just 1 day, 2 days I will do. After that, I take some gap, and then practice. If you take just one practice, you can take. I will do this, fix the time. I will do this at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That one practice you have to do for lifelong. 10 Ramanamas, whatever, one shloka, but that practice has to be lifelong. That will give results. General translation. Lord Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, what you say is correct. The mind is indeed very difficult to restrain, but by practice and by detachment, it can be controlled. Then 36. Asanyatatmana yogaha dushprapayiti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayatah. So here he says about asanyatatmanatmanah, one whose mind is unbridled. That means that one whose mind is not controlled, who is not control his mind, yoga, this kind of yoga, dushprapaha iti me matihi. It is very difficult to attain. So everything lies in this mind control. That's what he is saying. If you do not control your mind, it is very difficult to attain this kind of yoga. Iti me matihi. This is my opinion, he says. Krishna says, Vashyatmana tu yatata. But if the mind is controlled, what it can do? Tu yatata, one who strives like this with his mind who is controlled. Shakyaha avaptum upayataha. Shakyaha means it is possible to achieve upayataha by right means. He is giving the advantage of having a controlled mind, the disadvantage of having an uncontrolled mind. So the general translation is, the yoga is difficult to attain for one whose mind is unbridled, whose mind is not controlled. However, those who have learned to control the mind and who strive earnestly by proper means can attain perfection. This is my opinion.